Hi, everyone. Welcome to Margaret Being Margaret. You know how it says you have to laugh so you don't cry? This is a week. So, welcome to my stories of the couple of days in my life that almost did me in. Hope you enjoy. Good afternoon. I'm checking in after a week from not heaven. We always know at the salon when it's a full moon. Yeah, in full force. So, my week has been crazy, not in a good way. Earlier this week, I was in the salon and it's been a very busy week, the week before Easter, and one of the girls' blow dryers quit. It just burnt. It burnt out. So the whole salon smells of burnt electric, which is bad enough. 5 minutes, 10 minutes at the most later, one of the other girls' station stops working. Hoping it's not connected because we don't need any more catastrophes this week. So I go into the back and check all the breakers. The breakers look like they're all on, but I got to be sure. I can't waste money on an electrician if I'm not sure. So one by one, I stood there and we've got, I think, 400 amp service. So turn breaker off, breaker on, breaker off, breaker on, breaker off. So I hear them gasping because lights are going off and on. I forgot that I had the computers on and the server on. So when I came back out, never found the breaker that was off, never found any breakers off. And I go up front, all the computers are down. We have 6 computers. We can't cash people out. We can't check people in. We don't know who's coming in next. We can't use the credit card machine. We can't go online. And at the same time as all this is happening, our text messages have gone out because it's an automatic thing, telling them to press 1 or press 2 to confirm their next day appointments. And they're getting a message saying, please call the salon. This is down. So now we have 80 people calling the salon. And the girls are screaming at me because chaos ensues. So I'm looking at the server. We don't have a monitor on the server, of course, so I don't know for sure what's down. And I pressed it and tried to turn it on again, even though it was on, so I knew something was going on. Well, after 10 minutes, and we're getting nowhere, I call my computer guy, and he groans because he can't get there right away. He has an employee, he can't get there right away, so he says he'll call me back. When he calls back, he asks to talk to Bree, not me, my front desk girl. So I'm standing going, what? Are you kidding me? And he tells Bree he'd rather talk to her because I sounded stressed. He was protecting my health, he told me. And I do have a little film of it. I probably drop it in here. 3 stylists trying very hard to do what John says as he's on speakerphone. And the whole conversation was inappropriate because they're talking about what to plug in and what fits where. And it wasn't pretty. Okay, we do that part. Still on the computer. Good. Where do you hook up the mouse? The bad news is we have to let that get to 100%. Okay, we can do that. We can do that. Just it might take a while. If it's just patience, I think we can manage.
Hello, have you met me?
It might take 30, 45 minutes.
Okay.
Okay.
So
Thanks, sir.
after 10 minutes, and he says update him, let him know what's going on. After 10 minutes, I call him because it's cycling on 13%, which I know means we're dead in the water. So he said, only one more thing you can try, Margaret, but I think you fried the server, which is going to be expensive and take days. And I don't have money and we don't have days. We've got the salon packed for the week. He said, this is a technical term, and he meant it. It's press and pray. He said, press the on button and pray. Give it a minute, start it up again. I don't think it's going to work. So I did. I pressed it, and we all sat there holding our breath for a minute, and we turned it on. And I saw it cycling through things. So I was pretty sure we were going to be okay, checking discs and all that stuff. And 10 minutes later, it came up. The internet's back on, the credit cards worked, everything came back. Nobody was more surprised than my computer tech when I called him. But I just said, it's Easter, we've been saved, and we're back up. But it was an hour of pure torture. And the girls had it with me. The next day, I had an electrician come out. That one station had a loose wire. Are you kidding me? The other thing that's happening while this whole catastrophe of the computers is happening, one of my girls, the one I went to the shower for, is unexpectedly out. She's on modified bed rest for the rest of her pregnancy. So all of her guests we have to call. And they were a little shaken, a little antsy because they expected to have Chelsea. Well, the backup person that was available, I'm stepping up to do them. They have no choice. It's either me or you don't get done before Easter. This lady had a very heavy accent, which I'm good with, but she was also older than I am by a bit and hard of hearing. And she mentioned that she took her hearing aids out. And she does give the girls a run for her money because if you're not quite firm, she does did you cut over here? Did you cut? And drives them nuts. So I was teasing her, but I'm having to yell into her ear. And the girls are already rolling their eyes at me from the other fiasco going on. And so I'm going to win her over with humor. So when she talked about coloring her hair, I said, yeah, we're doing it purple today. But I'm doing, yes, we're doing it purple today. And they're all rolling their eyes like, oh, God. And everything I say is loud. It has to be loud because I'm yelling into her ear. And she said she liked my hair and that she'd like to go white. But now this conversation is very stilted because of the accent and the lack of hearing aids. And she said, I'd like to go white. At least this is what I heard. But my husband wouldn't like it. You're talking to me. And I yelled, what are you caring about what your husband wants? It's your hair. Do what you want. And she mentioned, well, she cares because he's dead. Now, the whole salon is tuned into this. And every single one of them is looking at me like they're going to kill me. But I've got to finish this conversation. So I said, I'm so sorry. How long has he been dead? Or when did he die? And she said, 2021. And I went, oh, so it's still fresh. Why? Whereupon the girls are walking by. Now this guest can't hear. She doesn't. And they're just very quietly going by me going, shut up. Today comes, and I've got more of Chelsea's guests. The first one came in. She said, I want Chelsea's address to send her a card. Well, you can't give out addresses. There's an anti-stalking law in Massachusetts, and I wouldn't anyway. And I said to him, sorry, I can't give out Chelsea's address. There's an anti-stalking law. And she rolled her eyes at me, and it's an old lady. And I said, but what we're doing is send the card or drop it off here. We'll forward them. And she said, I wanted to send her a gift. And I said, you can drop your gifts off here too. We will make sure she gets them. And she did a stare down with me. Like, how dare you tell me no? And I just sat there like, well, Chelsea came in an hour later and said the woman already gave her a gift. So she's just pushing my buttons. I had to do her hair. I had to do a perm. So it was 2 hours of tap dancing to get this lady happy, which we did, but I was exhausted. Well, the next gentleman coming in is Chelsea, so he lets nobody else do them. And I had called him yesterday to say she was on bed rest, and he got mad because he didn't know she was pregnant. And I said, well, I'm sorry, we didn't realize she needed your permission. And I said it, I don't care. And I said, do you want to wait for somebody else? No, I need it cut. It's long and I'm going away next week. So I guess you'll have to do. I said, okay. And he goes, do you know how to cut hair? And I said, absolutely not. You're taking your life in your hands. And so he comes in. He sits down and says, my hair doesn't matter that much. But Chelsea cuts it like this. And he shows me with his fingers. And I said, that's short? Yes. And it's been a while. So I cut it quite short, not even as short as he said. And I'm finishing up cutting it. And I've been tap dancing again to try to get him happy and make him like us. And he's looking in the mirror and he goes, it's quite short. And I said, okay. And he said, no, it's a lot shorter than usual. And I said, okay, you did tell me where to cut it, but I'm sorry. And I'll put in the notes to leave it longer next time. And he said, well, maybe you should take a picture of it so we know what not to do. I said, okay. And I just kept saying, okay. And then he said, when you sweep it up, Chelsea always sweeps it into a pile so I can see how much hair she cut. Okay. And I swept it into a pile. And he goes, that's a lot of hair. And I went, okay. I wrote it down that we're going to leave it. And I measured. it's an inch and a half now, we'll leave it at 2 inches. Okay. We're walking up, and he says, it'll grow, it'll be fine. All right, I just tap danced for 20 minutes, and you've been a pain. And he said, so who will do it next time? You said the new girl, Skylar? And I said, yes. And he goes, oh, that's good. I like that name. She'll be good. So all I had to do was say my name was flippin' Skylar, and he would have liked your haircut. By the time he left, I was so fried, and even the girls admitted it was just the universe and I were not compatible this week. One problem. The video that was a little controversial that I put up about how old people sometimes don't smell good? I don't know this is going on. A woman came in, very unkempt, obviously a problem, and she's sitting there and her caregiver's there. I don't realize for sure. I look up and I realize something's going on. Everybody that was in the waiting area had gotten up and kind of moved. One of my staff went to take her. 2 minutes, came up and said, I can't do her. I said, what's the matter? She goes, she smells so badly of urine that I'm gagging. Well, I go over, and the man in the chair next to us is holding his breath. That's how bad it was. And he looks like he's going to be green. Afterwards, his stylist said, I was asking Joe if he was all right, and he just kept nodding. She said, I didn't know what was going on. I hadn't been downhill, and he had been walking by her. And I went over to the caregiver. Now, here's the thing. I'm so mad that any elder is in that position. And I'm not going to go tell this elder. She has a caregiver sitting there on her phone. And I went up and I said, I'm so sorry, we're not going to be able to do her hair. And she said, why? With the stare down look again. And I said, because she reeks, she stinks of urine, she's obviously soaked, and my staff and guests are gagging. You'll have to take her out. And she went, fine. I want to call social services. It's not right. And I heard her go over to the woman and say, they can't do your hair. And the poor woman said, why? She said, I'll tell you when we get outside. Now that woman stood up. She obviously had Depends on. They were obviously soggy wet. And she stunk to high heaven to the point where people were gagging. So any of you who say, yes, but you should suck it up and be nice. Yeah, let me see you do that, because we're gagging. We have a full house of people. It's not going to happen. And she walked the woman out. Now, I'm mad at the caregiver. If I had time, I would take it on. I don't have time. But how disgusting. You rode over there in your car. You must have had your windows all the way down. That woman obviously hasn't been changed in hours, hopefully hours and not days. And she has the most unkept, long, unruly hair. That's a shame. That makes me so mad that I can't do more. I can't do more. I was as rude as I'm ever going to get, and it wasn't rude. It could have been much worse, because I should have called her on it and told her what a horrible human being she was. But I more or less sucked it up. So today's Friday afternoon. Tomorrow is the last day before Easter. We turned away, Bree said, between 5 and 10 people today who wanted to get in, and we couldn't do them. We don't have enough staff. Tomorrow is going to be hell on wheels, because not only will they be calling to try to get in, they're going to be rude and mean. So in 2 to 3 days, that salon has taken 5 years off my life. The girls actually said they're going home with headaches just because of the turbulence. And 50% of it is me, because I'm running around like a chicken with my head cut off, trying to keep all the balls in the air, which is why I want retirement. But I wanted to bring you up to date. This is the life. This is my life. This is Margaret being Margaret. I may not talk to you before Easter. I hope you all have a great Easter, however you celebrate. Hope you enjoy. I got myself a little piece of ham today, and that was my plan. So I will be enjoying myself and probably editing some videos. If you like, please like, subscribe, and share. I would appreciate it. And you guys have a great weekend. Take care.